definitely follow the definitely question, but still,
Mhm.
I still have.
Except because, you, like, your point is valid. Of course, they have not purchased ice skates or anything like that because it hasn't been approved. But we also hesitate to approve something until those things would be at least have a plan for them. Because to say that they're going to provide lots of ice skates, I mean, to know.
Well, that is the point. I mean, that they've verbally indicated
Okay.
that. I don't know if we haven't received them.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
okay.
hesitant to say that we definitely have skates
Right,
because
right.
we don't have them in hand.
Yeah.
We haven't received a donation form for them.
Got it.
So I can't definitively say that.
Okay.
They have verbally indicated that
Okay.
they'll provide it. Now that's no guarantee.
Yeah. That would just be my biggest concern is having it basically like a shiny object out there, like a treasure box that everybody stares at but can't really use because we don't have, you know, the equipment. That would be my biggest concern. I understand.
But then we have to store it too.
Yeah, storage. Yeah. I mean, there's those things that.
But also, like I said, the use of letting other kids use this that may not be enrolled in SAS that
Right.
want to come over after school, I think
Yeah.
that's going to be the majority of the time. And everyone's weekends are chock full of sports and everything else. Like, it'd be nice to come down
Especially
here,
now.
but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I feel like SAS, we're giving you a gift, but we're taking it for ourselves. We're buying ourselves something if we're only going to use it the majority of the time. It's got to, if we're going to go with equity here, it's got to be used for.
So just say
I
SAS
like you
is
just said
serving
what I
about
wanted to say.
25% of your student population at this point, roughly 150 students on a daily basis. So I mean that is a significant chunk of your student body. I see both sides. I'm not taking
Yeah, no, I
a
know.
position, but
Yeah.
I'm just acknowledging that that's
Yeah.
part of.
And it is totally valid. And again, they're providing a gift, so it makes sense that they would have time specifically dedicated to them to use it. So that part makes sense. It's just how much time? What does it end up looking like? But again, I guess you can't. I don't want to say beggars can't be choosers, but at some point, if you're accepting a gift, it is a gift to be utilized however the giver intends.
So I mean, it would be till dark.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be, and we have no intention of putting lights out there. You know, and there is, I mean, keep in mind there is not a additional insurance cost, but there is that liability should there be injuries on the weekend or whatever. I mean, that could, if there are claims that could potentially increase, insurance rates in the future. I will note, Hampton Falls, who installed a similar rink, they had a very positive experience, but
Do they provide skates? Do you know?
they received a donation.
Okay.
For
Do
skates.
they, who maintains the skating rink?
So that is primarily volunteers from the parents. So they're the ones that set it up, remove the snow, and then break it down. So they're the ones that donated it, and they're the ones that have maintained it. And that's worked well for them, but that's not
Yep.
to say this is a little different. This is from an organization, and there's no guarantee on their side, and there's no guarantee on this side that will continue.
Yeah.
So.
I guess with it being removable, if they choose not to maintain it and it comes down, you take it down and it doesn't go back up.
Yeah.
Just a thought that potentially be out there. But
From what I remember hearing at some point, there was something with once it's filled with the temperature, as long as it doesn't go above a certain temperature, then it stays ice. That could be wrong, but that was what I was.
Even in the summer.
No.
Oh,
Well,
my
I mean,
God.
yes,
Take it
but it
down.
will go. It better go above
Please.
40 something or 50 or whatever it is. So I would think, again, this is just guessing, but I would think that the maintenance would be lower. I also don't want to seem ungrateful because I think it's wonderful and I think it could be well utilized, and I think Seabrook kids would love it. I know as a parent I would love the opportunity to do it, but I also don't. My kids don't have skates, and I don't necessarily have plans on purchasing them. So when you go to a rink, you would rent them, or however that would work. So, I mean, I guess that would be my main concern is just really how many kids are going to have skates. If they're offering to do that, I think that's wonderful. I think providing skates would be great. It's just how do we know how much to provide? How do we know how many size 11s, size 3s, that, you know what I mean? I know that's a lot of like excess stuff, and I would love to just say yes and let's just do it. And I think ultimately, I mean, maybe that's where we are, but can they get those, can they come in and just be here to answer?
To tell us what their intention is.
So I almost feel like that you nailed it right on the head. Like, I feel like that we're gonna accept the donation, it's a great thing, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be available to the kids on the weekends, where there's no supervision, possibly no skates of their own. And then SAS has it Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. We've had SAS canceled a lot because of staffing issues, which means that if we've had staffing issues to even have SAS in place, are we gonna be able to have that commitment to maintain it? And again, I'm not trying to be the negative person, I'm just trying to think that all of the things that have come, I don't know about you guys, but to me in the last couple months about things not running smooth on the playground, or now during facilities with basketball, and, you know, some of the days that are canceled because of staffing issue. We're already short-staffed. I just feel like right now is not the time. I feel like that we're also strapped financially, and maybe right now it's not a financial burden, but we're also not looking at down the road. And that's, so, I mean, if somebody wants to accept.
I would like to see SAS and the Friends of Seabrook just come in and just tell us, like, to our face, like, what they're planning on doing with skate stuff. Like, can we table this till next meeting and see if we can get, I think that's a reasonable ask. At least have somebody come in, not that I don't trust you, Matt, but like, you're not the one that's responsible for all of it. If they can come in and be like, guys, listen, this is how we're gonna provide it, just us.
I'm just a messenger.
No,
Oh, I know.
It's not my donation.
I 100% know.
But we're the ones, the board members are the ones that are gonna be getting these phone calls when it's not being
Yeah, so
maintained,
why don't
when these
we-
kids are being kicked off of the ice skating rinks. And honestly, I don't mean to, I mean, I'm not saying I'm ungrateful for being on the school board, but these are just added things that we don't need that are gonna already coming to us and it's not in place. And I think that we need to revisit the fact that SAS is gonna have it 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, if they're not gonna sign a contract stating they will be responsible for the maintenance. Because I don't think it's fair to facilities either. They may not complain about it, but later on down the road, you never know what could happen.
I say we table the vote until we have someone from SAS and Friends of Seabrook to at least brief us on what the plan of use is, and then we can make an informed decision to accept or not accept this.
Just right now, it's just a public hearing. This is still a public hearing.
Oh, we don't have to vote, we don't
I
have
thought we
to,
were voting on
I thought we had to
We are.
vote to
It
it.
was
Later on.
later on.
Oh, later.
This is,
Well, then maybe now the public knows the details, they can come up and
I'm
talk.
not very detail
Can we
oriented,
ask
I
them if
guess.
they
Yeah, if they have any comments.
Does
Yeah,
anyone else have
public
anything to
hearing's still
say?
open If there are any public comments.
Melanie?
So I'm an active member of Friends of Seabrook Community, so I'll take that back, and I'll have someone here for the next meeting, Melanie Eaton. So, as a parent, I'm just gonna speak on, because I was not actively involved in the planning of the skating rink. At the end of the day, as a parent, it's a free gift, right? At the end of the day, whatever my children can use as a town member, I'm happy as a taxpayer. So, yes, there's a lot of questions, a lot of good questions on both sides from the school board, maybe from the staff itself, but as an actual taxpayer and as a parent and as a member of Friends of Seabrook Community, I'm proud of the skating rink. So when it's given to, whether if it's to SAS from 3 to 6, that is 125 to 150 of our students in the school that will be utilizing that. On the weekends, yes, my kids are busy, but if I want to go to the skating rink, it's going to be offered to my children. Batting gloves, bats, those things are not offered to my children if I want to use the actual softball fields, the baseball fields. That's an option of myself as a parent to bring that for them. So if I want my children to go in the skating rink, I will then go buy them a pair of skating skates. If I cannot afford, that's on me as a parent, but it's still offered. So there's a lot of things going back and forth, but at the end of the day, it's for our children. So it's a yes for me, but I do hear both sides, and I will be happy as a board member to bring back somebody, give me your list of questions, and I'll be happy to provide those answers to you. But again, at the end of the day, it's for our children. Should never be a no.
Anyone else?
There's no other comment you can close
Okay.
the public hearing?
All right, so close the public hearing, and next we're gonna do a student representative report.
Hello, I believe you know me by now. I'm Marla Eaton, an 8th grader here at Seabrook Middle School. I'm here to give you a rundown of what is happening in SMS from a student's point of view. Fall sports recently just ended but went out with a bang. Field hockey, soccer for girls and for boys, volleyball and cross country led the season strong. The Rams worked their butts off, and even in the pouring rain, the soccer and field hockey girls persevered. Speaking of sports, winter sports are taking full swing this week for boys basketball, girls basketball, and wrestling. Seabrook clubs such as Y2Y, our youth program, have been very visible with multiple things on their agenda. We just went on a field trip last week up to Brentwood with other Y2Y groups from neighboring towns to inspire new ideas, make new friends, and educate about the dangers of drugs and alcohol. Y2Y is planning a sticker shock, which is putting stickers on cases of alcohol, and also a food drive for Thanksgiving while raising money for the program. All while creating more ideas and plans which cannot be shared yet, but very exciting. Another Seabrook club is actually one of our 8th grade Flex groups. Flex, in a nutshell, is a block in our schedule dedicated to groups that you're interested in. Basically, it's a month-long club in our school with the help of teachers. This particular Flex group was hosted by Mrs. Sherbon, our talented language arts teacher. She is currently leading the fundraising group for our 8th grade field trip, so long as it gets approved. I'm a part of that fundraising group, and we're working on a very fun and exciting fundraiser that will go back to the 8th grade. Although the fundraisers cannot be shared quite yet, they are filled with holiday cheer and exciting ideas. 8th graders have also been getting involved with elementary kids recently. 2 weeks ago, 8th graders participated in a nature walk with the young kids by reading books outdoors and being great role models with the elementary kids loved. Certain kids, like me, also went to elementary classes to read Halloween books for Flex. We're so excited to be getting more involved, and there's so much more we want to do with the elementary kids. Pep rallies have been brought back recently, and I know I'm not the only one that's so happy with the student cheer participation being brought to life in the ramps. Outstanding Ramps has also been brought back, which rewards students who are respectful, accountable, motivated, and safe. This year, as an 8th grader, I'm leaving the school and heading into high school. God, that is so weird to say. I'm happy with the new direction of the school and excited to fulfill another year at SMS. As we settle into school, leaving our first trimester, we've accomplished many things, done so much good, and I know I've had so much fun. I know these students have so much more they want to do and so much more we want to say. But for now, that's the rundown of our first trimester into the 2022 school year.
Good job, Marley. All right, so we have public comment again. Public comment? I don't think anyone has anything. And now presentation.
So just note that public comment opened at 5:02. We have to allow at least 30 minutes, so if anyone joins us who wants to speak, they will have that opportunity.
I'm Michael Gotro. I'm the elementary school librarian. I'm Tori Bernard. I'm one of the special education teachers here at Seabrook Elementary.
I'm Rebecca Sherbon. I teach 8th grade language arts at Seabrook Middle School.
And we are here to discuss with you our Seabrook Elementary School and Seabrook Middle School literacy collaboration. What you ask? Well, it started out as a vision between two Seabrook Elementary School teachers, myself and Michael. Our vision was to create a learning block that would allow our amazing educators to expand their classroom and provide a multi-sensory learning across the curriculum. We are excited to add this new addition to Seabrook schools and the community. It allows for students to learn in many different ways, and we wanted to provide literacy experiences that would tap into multi-sensory learning. And then, what is the story walk, you ask? It is a fun educational activity that faces a children's story. Literally, we took two books apart and dissected them. Felt like I was doing something wrong. teacher, so it just seemed like the perfect blend to be able to combine the two. And we know that as a Seabrook Learning Walk is a perfect way for us to promote community-wide love for reading among our families and our students. The Seabrook Schools Learning Walk is a community partnership. We have enlisted the support and help from our Winnipeg High School Junior ROTC, and let me tell you, they are amazing. They came just one day, we had our boots on, and we cleared the trails. We prepped the trails, we marked the trails, and then they came back a second time and helped install those poles, and there's 22 even. So it was a lot of work. I don't think I've ever worked so hard. And then we also reached out to the Seabrook PTO. They donated funds to purchase necessary materials for that walk. And then we also, our great Seabrook Middle School 8th grade had volunteers. We have one here. That guided Seabrook Elementary students along the trail, reading the story and discussing it as they went. They were absolutely phenomenal. It was just amazing to watch. They loved it. So the pictures that you see here are some of the junior ROTC from Winnipeg High School working very hard in all capacities of making this possible. And we had a chance to sort of connect and hear from them. Some were former students from Seabrook as well, but they really were taking it, how much fun they had doing this. They said they couldn't wait to come back to see the learning walk being used by the students, and they had a lot of fun putting on campus and making a difference in the local communities. And what's exciting about this is that we kind of, I think, partnered up and established future collaborations with the high school. We're working with Tony Fisher and Kate Evans as part of the extended learning opportunities that are there. We currently have a student who is working on some graphic design and helping us to create some signs. And we know that going forward, whether it's marketing, graphic design, education, there's lots of opportunities for us to continue this partnership. And then the last slide that I wanted to share with you before I turn it over, just some pictures of when the 8th grade took out some of our students along the walk and the discussion that they had, and really building a community across all the school, both schools, and then also taking that back into their homes and having, students bring their families out on the weekends to utilize this great space.
So at Seabrook Middle School, we have a flex time for our students, and it all begins with a choice. So we've asked kids, what are they interested in? What are some of their ideas for flex? A common thread was getting back to the elementary school to participate with kids. So we started with a reading buddies group, which was phenomenal. It was logistically a little bit of a concern schedule-wise, but thankfully the teachers at the elementary school were super flexible with us, which allowed us awesome opportunities to be with them. So the way that we did it was we thankfully went to Michael's library, we had the kids select books, then they came back to the 8th grade, they practiced reading together, which was great. They developed questions, they sort of worked on troubleshooting about what might happen and what happens if a little kid blows the story, I've seen it, or so they were prepared and they felt really confident, which any opportunity we have to give our kids more confidence in leadership is awesome. During our flex period, the purpose, it was really encouraging for SES kids to see big kids come and read stories. It worked with increasing reading fluency so far with our 8th grade students, which was awesome to see. There was one student in particular who is oftentimes really soft-spoken, and then she got in front of kids and dressed up and had this voice about her that I will never forget. Already spoke about the leadership, and then just building that bridge which helps connect SES with SMS, because we are, after all, connected, literally. Why not use more of that? Some of the quotes from the 8th graders about their experiences were, all the kids were so kind and polite, my group showed respect and we got that right back. I loved building bonds with all the kids in my group and out. It was an experience I'll never forget, and never forget the feeling of having all those little kids look up to me. I had the best day ever, and I hope to do it again. I can now name specific little kids that were literal angels sent to earth. Two little Girl Scouts giving me the prettiest leaves they could find. I still have them.
Oh.
It was just the best. It was such an awesome collaboration, and I can't wait to figure out ways to do it more frequently between us.
That's awesome.
So thanks to our administrators too for allowing us to do that.
Any questions?
Thank
Awesome,
you.
thank you. So we're gonna go into the minutes. All right, so we're gonna approve the minutes for October 11th, 2022, the public hearing and regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 11th regular meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Motion passed unanimous.
And approval of minutes for October 18th, the special meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the 18th.
I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes too.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Motion passed unanimous.
Meredith, superintendent report.
Sure. It's been a couple weeks now, but I did get the opportunity to play on the staff versus student unified soccer team at Winnicott, which if you've never been to a unified athletic event, I strongly encourage you to attend. You remember, I think, what joy is really about and how teams are really intended to work. People supporting each other, encouraging each other, and just having fun and really enjoying sports. So compliments to the athletes for their performance that day, because they did crush the staff. Applications opened last week for the superintendent student leadership team. So I think, I was trying to look up the date, I think those are open through next Tuesday, the 22nd. I already have some applications here from the middle school, but 7th and 8th grade students from each of our schools, as well as students from each grade level at the high school. And it's an opportunity for students to kind of share their voice, weigh in on things that we're working on across the districts, including Portrait of a Learner, collect their thoughts about issues like student safety, just bigger pieces of our work. So I would encourage interested students to go online, and you can right from our homepage click on that. Last night we had a talk about mental health featuring former Chief Justice Judge Broderick from New Hampshire. We had about 100 people, give or take, in the audience, and we had several student panelists who also spoke about their experiences in navigating the mental health system. There will be some follow-up events, but that event was recorded, so we'll post that online and let you know when that's available. I think just really sort of normalizing that experience, right? Like, it's okay. People who are struggling with those challenges didn't do anything wrong. These are real issues. There are people who can support you and help you work through them and get to a better place. So that's the message I think we all wanted to send. And if people are struggling or know someone who's struggling, reach out to your school counseling staff, or if you're not sure who that is, reach out to your building administrator and they can help connect you. So, and then the last thing I had on my list, well, budget. That's coming up. We'll talk about that more later and next week. But Wednesday, December 8th at 6:30 in the lecture hall, we'll meet with our local legislative representatives. So we've got some new legislators who'll be joining us and some continuing legislators who will start the conversation about upcoming legislation and how that may impact our work in schools and our communities.
Right, I have a quick question about the event that you had last night. Is there any plan to do a similar, more individualized approach in the different middle schools, or even at the high school level? But I'd love to see it at the middle school level, to do an assembly of sorts, but where all the kids can be involved. So if they don't have transportation to get, or maybe their parents aren't as involved, doing the same thing, normalizing mental health issues, discussing what they can do about it, all those things. Are there any plans to do that in the school?
So that wasn't a direct conversation as part of the planning for last night, but that's certainly something I can bring back to our principals group and have a conversation about. I know Justice Roderick has spoken at lots of schools all over the state. I know some of our student panelists are very willing to come and talk about their experiences, so I'm sure we could manage that if the schools were interested and felt like they could accommodate that.
I mean, I would love to see it.
Meredith, do you think that we can submit that to the town or Channel 22?
The video,
Yeah.
I will find out.
Yeah.
We got permission to record it and post it to our website.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get permission to
Yeah,
share, but I have to check.
Okay.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
it's kids and their
Oh,
families have
yes,
to sign
that's
on.
right too.
So
Okay, I didn't think of that, but
possibly, but if, at the very least, we can put the link on our site so people
Yeah.
can connect.
Good. We can always post something on. Maybe they could post something on 22 that it's on the site. So I'll ask. I'll see on that.
Okay.
All right. Curriculum, instruction, and assessment report.
Sure. Three things going on in curriculum. First is, they're all in past tense, actually. November 8th, we had the professional development workshop. We got really good feedback from staff, and just so you guys know, that was an opportunity for collaboration across the SAU. We bring grade level teams together and subject area teams together, including the high school, and let the teachers plan out assessments and that kind of stuff. So the feedback was good, and we got a lot done. We've had one full admin team meeting on educator evaluation, November 1st. We've actually carved those out quarterly this year, where the entire admin team across the SAU get together. We look at mini observation write-ups. We talk about what we're looking for in the classroom. We develop a common vision, and I think that's good post-COVID, A, but B, with turnover in administration, it's really just good to get on the same page and communicate that. And then 3 is Portrait of a Learner. Just an update there. We've got feedback analysis coming up this Friday morning. What we've got is a group of community members that are coming in and taking a look at all the data we've collected, all the feedback we've gotten from students, from parents, from community members, from business leaders. It's all in a nice little shiny binder. And we're going to be going through basically a process to develop shared themes, concerns, and commonalities across the SAU. And so that's the goal for Friday AM. And then we'll be in touch with next steps, which includes graphics and developing this more fully fledged. So that's it from curriculum.
Student services report.
Good evening, everyone. Lovely to see you all again. Brief updates from student services, starting with letting you all know that during the latter part of October and through the month of November, we have been hosting second cup of coffee sessions after school arrival in each of the districts for myself and the new special services directors to sort of just invite the parents of our students with special learning needs to come together and meet us, ask questions, learn a little bit more about our initiatives and what's going on. Seabrook is still in the middle of planning a date and getting that on your calendar, so we're hoping to do that, if not before Thanksgiving, then shortly thereafter. So it's been a great opportunity to have one-on-one conversations and meet some of the parents and, you know, listen to their successes and their struggles and just help them. We have reviewed the 7 steps in the New Hampshire special education process, along with eligibility and monitoring, and just kind of helping parents understand their role is so important in just being a member of the IEP team. Their voice is really the most important. As parents of students who are differently abled, they have the best information to help us plan the program and to get things going for them. So more meetings will be planned, probably another set in the spring, and we just appreciate the opportunity to let folks know to be on the lookout for an invitation from the special services director from here. And then lastly, just an update on our results with the Safer at School screenings that are going on every other week. The numbers for October are in your chart. I kept the numbers for September there so that you could see. And as far as Seabrook Elementary and Middle go, we're right about the same. So we're maintaining the numbers of folks, mostly staff, more staff than students, just about across the board. Speaking with the nurses this week, they're reporting that it's, maintaining relatively the same. So that's good news, and we'll keep that going as long as folks are interested in having that happen for them. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Brian?
I've got two quick thank yous. I'd like to thank Ms. Bocho and our PTO volunteers for organizing the book fair. Book fair was great and busy this year. Also, a thank you to the PTO. They organized the trunk or treat, and just a note for any parents listening, the PTO is in need of volunteers. Our PTO is a small group of people that do some great things, and they've had to cancel some events because they don't have volunteers. So, for anybody out there looking to get involved, the PTO is a great way to jump in. All about. So, another update, this Friday is our Veterans Day Assembly, so we've got the veterans coming in to meet our kiddos, and so that is on Friday. Thanks to Stacy Small for organizing that. Another thank you to our U18 for planning the community activity. One thing that we didn't note in there, that was our first house event. Our house events are vertical, so when we have those events, like kindergarten, first, second, third, and fourth grade, all get together. Instead of having unified arts by grade level, they do it vertically. So ask your students whether they're a white egret, purple finch, red cardinal, blue heron. Those are our groups. So your kiddos should get what that is. Our Penny Wars is ongoing right now. Last year we raised a whole bunch of money. Right now the kids are coming in. I think our fourth graders are leading the way for the Penny Wars. And two more things. Last month was Bullying Prevention Month, and we had a visit from Tiger, which was a theater production on anti-bullying. They come down from Plymouth State. And they also spent an hour with our fourth graders. So all the fourth graders had a specialized lesson on anti-bullying. And then we started our Donuts with Grown-Ups. So once a month, our social worker, Des Cormier, and our guidance counselor have a visitor from the community. This month was the town librarian. And we're picking up steam. We had one family that attended the last one, so we're hoping that on November 29th, we'll have more grown-ups than donuts.
That left you a lot of donuts.
There was a lot of donuts, yes, there was.
All for Christine.
I want my kids to go back to elementary school and start
All the
over.
fun.
So I wasn't at the trunk or treat. Well, I brought my kids and my granddaughter, but Jen was there. There was a lot of people that were there, and we got there. What time did it start? Do you remember? I don't know, but within 15, 20 minutes of being there, they went through 150 pieces of candy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of kids.
Tons
That's
of candy.
awesome. There were people running to BJ's after being there for a half an hour to 45 minutes.
It's a great event.
It was a good event.
It was. Yeah.
It just gets better and better.
It was so great to see the number of staff there.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of staff.
Yeah, there was a lot of staff. There was school board. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So lots of candy. All right, so now Jamie. Huh?
No, Brian was done.
Oh,
Were
Brian,
you done?
sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, Brian.
Let him go, he'll go.
He got so excited.
He had 4 pages.
I want to go back to elementary school. I'm going to send my kids back there instead of high school.
Well, the concert, the second grade concerts this Thursday.
Can't wait.
All right. It's what, this Thursday?
This Thursday night is our second grade concert.
It's a little red hen, in case anyone was wondering.
I'll be there.
Oh, and with the donuts with grown-ups,
I can't go,
grown-ups,
I just
Brian, for donuts with grown-ups, I was talking to Jess about it when we were there. It's kind of a tough time for people to attend. We were lucky to be able to do that, like during the day like that. But I wonder, and they had talked about maybe switching the times or making it more accessible for more people, because I think it was 9 o'clock or 9:30 in the morning.
They heard that, they're gonna try it. So this time they're trying it right after morning drop-offs.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And I know that they really want this to take off, so I think they're gonna listen.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll keep up for what time.
That's what I just
Yeah,
said.
I would sign up
I
for
thought of
that.
something else, but I won't.
Anytime pizza's
I said
involved,
you can
Dave,
say
I'm
with
always
parents.
Pizza
pizza
with
with
parents.
Yeah,
I'll be
pizza.
there.
Always grimy with me.
Right.
And you can
All
do
right.
it later.
Are you done, Brian?
I'm done.
He's done.
He's
All right, Jamie, go ahead.
You can do mine now.
He will.
Sign him up.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Not that I need help being confused, but I think those nameplates are switched. Jennifer and Kelly.
They are.
I'm Kelly.
It's confusing me.
It's like, I
up.
Is
fair. Switch
All
over.
right.
I don't know what to say about that.
Okay, happenings at SMS. I'm not sure I'll be
No, you
able to
don't.
upstage Miss Eaton on that student representative report. That was fantastic. Thank you. So I'll start with some thanks to Youth to Youth, Miss Dow and Mrs. Parsons for organizing Red Ribbon Week specifically. It was one of those weeks that I think school administrators kind of fear because it involves kids dressing up and different clothes and masks and things. But our kids rose up, and I'm really proud of how they did that week. It culminated in that Friday, October 28th, with Dress Up Day. And we didn't have a single behavior issue that rose to our level anyway that day. The kids were just happy and smiling, and we finished the day with our annual RAM Assembly, where we recognized again 37 students for being outstanding RAMs and 7 staff members, included staff nominating other staff members who demonstrated exceptional RAM qualities for the month, so that was really cool. We had some recognition for our costumes also, with rewards or awards provided by Youth to Youth. Kids loved that. I included some pictures in there for your reference. And also we had a K-8 fire drill on November 4th. Fire department was here, and it was really orderly and successful. We were in and out of the building in 8 minutes, so not too disruptive. So that was a good start to that. Just as a sort of an update, I've taken over the Seabrook SMS Facebook page. So I'll be posting announcements and things like that on a pretty regular basis for anybody who's interested in other happenings that are going on. Just a quick announcement from Mr. Constant was around the hosting of our middle school's hosting on year 2 of hosting Mission Kid to Kid, where there are 18 Winnacunnet students that have signed up to participate in this extended learning opportunity project created by a high school student. They had a visit this week, scheduled to visit our 8th graders during our advisory time, excuse me, twice a month over the course of the school year. So it's a great opportunity for our middle school students to begin to build relationships with the high school students in support of their transition to Winnacunnet. Also, we had a 7th grade field trip to Salem on Halloween, which is another one of those things that I was kind of a little concerned about, but it was an excellent day. The kids were happy. We didn't have any major incidents. They were able to see the Dungeon Museum. There's a picture of a couple of kids and some old, I forget what they call those, stocks maybe?
Stockades, the gallows.
Yeah. So they had a great time on Halloween. And then another thank you to Ms. Sousa and our art students. There's some art over there thanking our veterans. They also participated in a PowerPoint presentation on honoring veterans during Veterans Day, and then engaged in an activity writing thank you cards for some of our local veterans. So that was a really nice gesture. I feel like we missed the boat a little bit this year with respect to honoring veterans, and so Ms. Sousa and her students really stepped up to do that, so I appreciate that. And that's it for now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Matt?
Thank you. Good evening. So we have included 2 reports on this evening's agenda: the revenue report and expenditure report year to date. There are not any significant changes from last month. I will note on the revenue side, we have been notified that we will be receiving additional revenue, approximately $100,000 that was not anticipated from the New Hampshire retirement system. They will be issuing a refund. So that's positive news that will affect our bottom line. So that is good, because on the expenditure side, we have some budgets that are over budget. So this includes, as I've noted in the past few meetings, that we are monitoring special education. We have a number of out of district placements, and the report currently shows about $200,000 over budget on that line item. However, that's going to be closer to $400,000. So as a whole, our special education department is currently, about, it's probably going to be about $300,000 over budget to date. Additionally, you'll see in our buildings accounts, which is on page 5 and 6, we have a number of budgets or number of accounts that are over budget. One item in particular I want to bring to your attention. I don't know if you're aware, but on the playgrounds, we do have a slide that was broken. So we did order a replacement slide on the playground. That's approximately $10,000.
It's more awesome than the original.
It's the most fun slide ever.
I just want to say.
$10,000, it better be good.
Well, and I think it's a special height, so there's like more to it. It's not like not a special height, but it's not just a standard,
Well, it's
nothing's cheap.
So school playground equipment is very expensive.
Yeah.
We did, to Christina noted the special height. It's not a custom order slide. The difference is we had difficulty finding a straight slide that is currently there. So we're replacing it with, for lack of a better word,
twisty
curly
slide. Say it with me, man. A twisty slide.
Twisty slide.
But it's gonna be nice.
Yes. So unfortunately, we do need a slide for our playground, so we did make that purchase. Otherwise, you'll see in our employee benefits on page 7 and 8, we do have some surplus in a few of those accounts where we're saving some money. I think we will be, in good shape to end the year. However, as we get closer to the spring time frame, we will look at potentially making a withdrawal from the Special Education Expendable Trust for some of those overages. But that's something we're going to look at as we get closer to fiscal year end and determine whether the budget can absorb it or whether we do need to make a withdrawal. So separate from where we stand for this budget, we are also preparing for next fiscal year's budget. So part of the issue that we're encountering with this current year is our budget failed at ballot, so we're in a default budget. So that's roughly $300,000 less than what we had originally accounted for, where we had to find savings. So we're working off of a default budget, which already sets us back, $300,000 approximately. But we, our leadership here at Seabrook really did a really nice job putting together a budget that we feel is, meets our needs as far as operations of the school, provides funding for, our proper levels of, experiential, whether it's in learning opportunities for our students, while also remaining fiscally responsible. We are cognizant of a CBA that, we do have a tentative agreement with the union for to bring forth a warrant article for our teachers' contracts. That is a tremendously important warrant article for our school district. It is essential that we have, or provide the compensation in order to keep our teachers who, really are the talents, right? The teachers are what make the school run. They're the ones that are working with our students every day, providing that instructional practice for our kids. Additionally, we need to have that ability to hire new teachers and high quality teachers. Now, when we look at area school districts, we're relatively competitive, but we're a little lower when it comes to compensation and benefits. So I cannot stress the importance for our community members to vote and to support this warrant article because this is the lifeblood of our school. It's our teachers, and we need to be able to compensate them appropriately. So, thank you to Brian and Jamie for putting together a budget. We will be reviewing with you, the board, next Tuesday for our first budget review session, where we will go through, all of our accounts and proposals, and at that point, the board will have the ability to make any adjustments, and then ultimately finalize a budget that you will or we will bring forth to the budget committee. Budget committee will be meeting in December. We will present, I believe it's December 14th. Let me just verify that. Yes, December 14th at 6:30. At that point, they'll have the ability to make adjustments to the budget. Once they have a final budget, we'll have a public hearing in January. That is currently scheduled for January 16th, as Civil Rights Day at 6:30, and that's in the Seabrook Recreation Department. After the public hearing, we'll offer the community the ability to speak on the budget. So that's public comment on the budget. There are no changes that can be had at the public hearing. However, we will have the deliberative session in February, and that is scheduled for February 6th, which is a Monday. That'll be in the gymnasium, and that's the opportunity for our community members to not only speak on the budget, but also they have the ability to make motions to change the budget. So they can change the bottom line budget. They can't dictate how the school board will spend the money, but they can change the number. And at the completion of the deliberative session, we are almost at the finish line. That will determine the final operating budget number and any associated warrant articles that will go to ballot on the second Tuesday of March. And again, I would encourage all Seabrook residents to vote because we do have some very important ballot initiatives this year. It's critically important for not only our teachers' contract, but also for our operating budget because, like I said, the budget failed last year. So we are artificially at a lower starting point. So funding is important for us to operate.
Matt, how can we share with the public what the repercussions are of voting down a budget or voting down warrant articles, especially when obviously we know money is tight for everyone, but to vote no on everything without consideration of what happens when that happens? What can we share with the
So I
public
think once
to say?
you have to set a budget, right, and approve the warrant articles, and then that's part of the messaging for the board and for us to support you with in delivering that information to the community.
Okay.
We had a discussion last year following the default, for example. There was conversation about the special education bus, and people were upset that was cut, not understanding that was part of the implication of voting down the operating budget. The second preschool bus.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misspoke. But I think it's important to identify what some of those items are that are incorporated in the budget, and we could potentially do a voter information guide that outlines some of that, so you can see the difference between the operating and default budgets.
That would be really good.
I think for us, it's this is going back. We all often bring stuff from the public here. We have to now go bring stuff from here back to the public.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was on the negotiation, and I'm sure we're going to get into talking to that, but it's critical to give people the contracts that they need, and if it doesn't pass here, it doesn't just affect here.
Right.
It'll affect the entirety of the SAU.
Yes.
So it's not just looking at it, under a microscope at Seabrook teachers, but we're looking at all of the teachers, and that'll be the message to get out. Is we have to support the entire. I mean, our kids go to the high school. They're going to school with all the other kids from all the other schools, and people are doing a great job. And here in Seabrook, I mean, we stayed open through COVID. We've done more than a lot of other people, I think, have expected out of people, and I applaud the teachers for that. And we'll just have to, once we get into the nuts and bolts of the contract, I believe it's fair. Yeah. I sat there, we went through lots and lots of meetings, and we all work together. So once we can get you guys all the details, and we can get out to the public, it'll just be like, listen,
Yeah.
you can't vote no necessarily on everything, because you can't complain that the school isn't funded, and that we don't have a bus, and that we don't have teachers.
Yep.
You don't approve some things. I understand things are tight, and you have to decide which is more important. So, but I think now we go back to the public and give them what they've brought us, and play middleman.
Yeah, we definitely have to put it out there as much as we can.
So, before I forget, Matt, I know, because I don't have a pen to write this down, so I want to ask you now, but when we go in to do the budgets, do we have contracts for the buses? Are we able to see what the contracts consist of and how much we're paying per bus and which buses are running, to kind of just have more of an idea?
Yes, so.
Can we get copies of those, just because we know how much we pay for buses, but we don't have a breakdown on how many buses that is and how many are running?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So we are contracted with First Student for our general education transportation, and we have a contract with Durham School Services for our specialized services transportation, and then oftentimes we need to go elsewhere on an ad hoc basis for whatever transportation is available. Transportation is a tremendously difficult industry right now as far as labor and costs. So much of that information is included in the budget, and then if you like the actual contracts, I can
that'd be
provide
good.
that to you.
Yep.
It's a couple hundred pages of light reading.
Well, I mean, I don't need the 100 pages. Maybe just how many buses we have, and
Just the highlights.
right. So how many buses do we have running in the morning? How many we have running in the afternoon?
Yep,
Just
absolutely.
maybe something like
No
that.
problem. I have all that information.
Okay, perfect.
So, and I'll note that I just kind of outlined the budget process.
Yeah.
So we will be, during public meetings, reviewing the budget, and there will be a PowerPoint. Actually, the PowerPoint's already created, so with your budget materials that I received the other day. So we will be posting that information on the websites. We'll be putting it out on social media. I encourage all of our Seabrook residents to attend these meetings to have a better understanding, and we'll certainly do everything in our power to disseminate the information. Unfortunately, budget's not necessarily everyone's first top priority as far as interest level. I don't know why. It's mine. However, we will do everything in our power to get that information out there, so that people understand how we are planning to fund the school and ramifications should the budget fail.
I think the voter card is a good idea. And a voter card that we could just share. So.
And it's
This is what you
important that that we talk to our residents, right? Get the word out, and because not everyone will want to read
right
my PowerPoints.
We can't tell
Not
you to
if they're
vote
100
yes, but we can
pages.
tell you not to vote no. I'm just saying.
Oh, man. All right. Get it back here. All
Thanks,
right.
Matt.
Yeah. So continuing business.
We have any continuing, but we have lots of new business.
Oh. Grade A field trip. Grade 8 field trip.
Hi, thanks again for having us. We are planning a trip, with your permission, to. I don't have access. May 23rd through May 25th. Yes, it's not Washington, D.C., and yes, it's not New York City, but it is Boston, which is wonderful. It's in our backyard, which is great. Can you go to the next one? Thanks. Tons of curriculum connections. A side note very quickly, Washington, D.C. took us over a year and a half to plan. We all know how that turned out. It was devastating. New York City was something that had already been in line, and it was pretty much set for years. So Boston right now, with the time frame that we have and our want to deliver a celebration to our kids who deserve it so much, Boston was an awesome choice. We have social studies connections to civics and history, language arts to literature, and a chance to reflect. Science, the Museum of Science, and math, the Museum of Science and Mathematica. Okay, you can go right on to the next one. I think. Great. So, we can go to the next one. We have plans to go to the old State House, the Freedom Trail, the Old North Church, Sam Adams Burial, lunch at Quincy Market. It's pretty great. Old Ironside, Bunker Hill, the Photo Board Quest Group Challenge, which is like, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool. I want to go.
Yeah, so cool. Boston Duck Tours. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have it packed full of awesome experiences. The Cambridge Side Galleria, Museum of Science, dinosaurs, so fun, Mathematica.
Ooh.
Okay, yes, let's vote.
You volunteered.
Who did you have? So dinner cruise, of course. The aquarium. We'll be taking them to tour Fenway, Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum, and then our goal is to do the 3 days, 2 nights, $800 per student, which at first seems like a punch in the gut. I understand. We understand that. But we have, that includes their board, their travel, 3 meals each day of the trip. And we have wonderful fundraising plans and opportunities for our community to get involved with. We have been racking our brains to try to, A, minimize the impact on the community, because of course we have other things that we would love the community to help teachers with, as noted previously. Thank you, Farrar. But we're going to be selling water bottles. We have a wreath sale coming up. Restaurant nights with our local restaurants. We're planning a holiday hustle. Spaghetti dinners, fundraising calendars, Valentine's Day dance, a mini golf night. So we are looking to take that $800 and decrease it exponentially with each fundraising event.
And that was kind of a high estimate. There's a lot of tweaking. That itinerary is not set in stone. They're really going to the capital zones and they're really going to work with us. Tweaking some different things. So I don't know where we're at right now.
Right. And this is not into, this is in addition to the other amazing things that we have planned for the 8th graders as well. It's not just this. So kids that can't go to Boston or whose parents would prefer that they don't go away for 2 nights, there will be other opportunities to celebrate your kids as they will deserve.
I know some 6th graders that would love to go away for 2 days.
And some parents of those 6th graders on the side.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
It does.
It
Sounds really
does,
great.
yeah.
With that, I'm going to duck out and field my banquet.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so ultimately, we'd like the board's permission to move forward with this trip. You know, because it's an overnight trip, we usually seek board approval because obviously that's different than just a day trip that's tied to curriculum. So.
I think it's a great idea.
Sounds great.
I mean, especially after the last couple of years, it's
Yeah.
kids out.
Sign us up as
So do I make
chaperones.
a motion?
Yep.
All right, so I make a motion to approve the 8th grade field trip.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Unanimous.
Zero.
Yep.
Yeah. Exciting. So exciting.
All right, so the next one is resignation/board reorganization.
Yes, so we received an email from Forrest that he is stepping down from the role of chair. He wasn't able to be here today, and felt that in fairness, the board should be able to have the opportunity to elect a new chair. Kelly, as vice chair, has been working as your acting chair, but formally you would need to vote to accept his resignation from the role of chair, and then nominate a new chair and potentially vice chair. So,
I think you're doing a great job.
Yes.
You want to keep it going?
Wonderful.
How do you feel about
Look at
that?
her face. She's really excited.
So, I make a motion that we accept Forrest's resignation.
I'll second.
Chair.
Unanimous.
Hi.
all in favor?
Unanimous, right? Yeah.
And then you need to nominate.
We'll make a
chair.
motion to nominate Kelly as the official chairperson.
I'll second.
You good with that?
Christina, we did that?
Mm-hmm.
Who seconded that?
She's building motions over there.
Is everybody all in
All in
favor?
favor.
All in favor? Aye.
Yep.
Motion passed. So then you have a vacancy for the role of vice chair, so you can call for nominations for that.
I make a motion to,
You gotta nominate first.
Make a motion to nominate Christina Kaiser as the vice chair.
you're gonna second that because,
I like your pointing. Thank you. That was nice.
I'll second.
all in favor?
She's got
Do I have to vote
You
too?
you have to
Oh,
accept it.
yes, I would accept. Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain from this vote. Yes.
She votes no.
I mean, I could vote yes, but
Absolutely.
oh,
Yeah, you can.
I
You support yourself working as vice chair?
I support myself
Okay.
as much
Then
as
vote
possible.
yes.
She
Pat
votes against
myself.
herself.
All right, so policies, first read.
Yes.
Cooking.
Wow.
So these are first read. These are all of the policies from the New Hampshire School Board Association fall update. I know that those have been shared. These were discussed by your policy committee at the now September meeting. So these are a first read. We'll bring them back to you next month. So if there are any changes or additions, or questions, please feel free to reach out to me or your policy rep.
We gotta make a motion on any of that, or that's just.
Not today.
All right.
All right, food service surplus proposal.
Thank you. So, as you're aware, at the conclusion of our fiscal year 2022 audit, we recognized a budget surplus in the food nutrition fund. So, we are allowed to have a surplus of 3 months of operating expenditures, but anything above that amount, we need to spend down. So as part of that plan, we are providing a proposal to adjust a position from just a food service worker to a like kitchen lead chef position. So this role would add hours so that it went from a part-time position to a full-time position. So that would be for the remainder of this school year. That would be of just over $10,000. So this would help us spend down that surplus, and our director has indicated that that this would really help as far as providing more from scratch meals, really take the quality of our meals up to that next level. Be able to offer more of a wider selection, and utilize some of our we have that fresh fruit and vegetable program. So she is really excited about this potential. So we are asking the board to make that adjustment. Now, I will note that this will also affect the budget for next year as well. So it's about $10,000 or $10,500 for the remainder of this school year. So you can double that for next year. So it's going to be about $21,000 in fiscal year 23-24. I will note, however, that we will not be budgeting for that additional amount. When you review your budget materials, that will also roll into the surplus, because the surplus rolls from year to year. So we do have available funds to cover this position for what we're planning for the next 3 to 4 years. So.
Do you make a motion? I'll make a motion to restructure food service worker position to the full-time chef kitchen lead position utilizing food service fund surplus.
All in favor? Okay, so now we have to make a motion to accept or not to accept the gift for the Friends of Seabrook community, the ice skating rink.
So I know your discussion earlier in the meeting was potentially to table that to the next meeting, so that's an option as well.
Okay, I make a motion that we table the donation of the outdoor ice rink from Friends of Seabrook to the next meeting. So we get more information and more structure.
I second.
All in favor?
Again, I just want to put a caveat that we are super thankful. I mean, or I'll say it. I mean, I don't want to speak for anybody, but
No, but
I'm
maybe
assuming
just
yes,
iron things out.
that we are really thankful that we have community organizations here that are willing to give these things to provide better opportunities for our kids. I think we just want to clarify some of the individual questions, but I personally don't think it's a bad idea. I love the idea. I think it's great. I think it could be really awesome for our school and for our students and our community. I just want to say that out loud so that people understand we're not saying no. We don't want free things that are awesome. We just want to clarify some questions with how it will be used
And be more proactive on maybe things that could come up so that there's more structure.
Yeah.
And for our clarification purposes, you would like us to have a representative from Friends of Seabrook to attend the next meeting to answer those questions. That is what you're looking for.
Yes,
I think that would be great.
and I think we can get like a list of questions and stuff, that way that they come prepared. I mean, I think we hammered out a ton of questions earlier.
Yeah.
We can put together an email package or whatnot that they can look through and just,
Maybe just compromise a little bit on the schedule.
yeah, we can talk about all of it and
Yeah.
figure it all out, to how to work best for everybody.
We can do that.
Just hammer out logistics.
Alright, so now the CESPA stipend.
Yeah, so I think we'll come back to that. We're gonna need a non-public, but we could do retirement.
Future meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
I
didn't
know,
see
that's
that.
so
okay.
sad. I love
Retirement.
her.
So we've received a notice of retirement from Karen Brady, planning to retire at the end of this school year. Karen's been district for 23 years as a special educator. So
She's awesome.
recommend accepting that with regret. Or with appreciation.
Appreciation and sadness.
A little of both.
Do we do that in public?
We're doing
now?
it.
Okay.
Because she's under non-public.
Yeah, that's why.
Non-public.
So we will further discuss the retirement stipend and non-public.
But we are very sad to see you go.
Alright, so I'm gonna call future meetings.
Yes.
Okay, so future meetings is Seabrook School Board Budget Review Tuesday, November 22nd. Seabrook School Board has another budget review Tuesday, November 29th. And the Seabrook School Board regular meeting is Tuesday, December 13th. And make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, A-M at 5:58 PM.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Oh, you gotta do roll call.
Oh, roll
right.
call, sorry, yes, roll call.
Jennifer Hubbard?
Yes.
Kelly Huber?
Yes.
Stephen Kaiser?
Yes.
Yes.
Roll call's been taken, we're now in non-public.